It's a long process, and it's about developing trust. It's a long process, and it's about developing trust. And in the projects I've worked on, it's about getting to know each other. And so myself going into that process and engaging with the community, it's not engaging as me the professor or me the researcher. It's about me going in as Colleen and you getting to know all those aspects of me as I want to know all those aspects of you. And then I think it's only when we're able to kind of take off some of those hats or roles or what have you, and you're able to work together and you get to know each other and you trust each other, that you're able to move forward. So that community engagement takes a long time.
But we're really talking about the health and the well-being, really, the richness of life for whole of communities and whole populations and whole societies. And so who would we be to go begin to make any of those decisions without engaging communities themselves in what we do? And so public health at its best is working with community groups, informal groups, with nonprofit organizations, more recently with business, with healthcare, with government. And so public health has to be skilled at finding the informal as well as the formal community leaders. We have to know that in this kind of community, you know, if the community is choosing its formal leader, it's going to be a business person who knows this. But this person over here is really the glue of the community that may not be as public. And we have to know how to work with both of those.
What we haven't dealt with enough in our funding structures and everything is, what do you do when the funding ends? Because these are now relationships, and they are not just simply, you know, someone you went in and did whatever, was on a project and you saw them a few times and you're gone. But you develop these relationships with people, and there's expectations and there's high expectations. So if you're coming to the end and you want to do a knowledge translation with your project and then you don't get funded, but you all worked on putting that grant together, it's incredibly disappointing. And so how do you continue to have those relationships with the people in the community so that you're not letting them down? And I think this needs to really be thought about, because we're moving more and more from academia into the community, talking about community-based research, service learning, all this stuff.
I think one of the challenges of community engagement, or in involving people from the community in decision-making or research, one of the challenges is dealing with the power dynamics that arise, especially when you're involving people in the community who often have less clout than others who are directly involved in decision-making, such as researchers or policymakers. I think there needs to be more thought about how to pay attention to those power dynamics to try to foster a more equitable discussion.
The Poverty Reduction Strategy in New Brunswick is a new Crown corporation that was started in 2009 with a number of roundtable discussions that happened throughout the province where we talked to about 2,500 New Brunswickers about what poverty means to them. And we talked to business people, we talked to government, we talked to people who are or were living in poverty, and also government sectors.
We have one project right now that has been exceptional. And not only have they engaged with the community, but they have really engaged with the young people through the school and invited them to come along and be part of it, so that we're hoping that they'll get interested in research and maybe want to be involved down the road. And always the giving back. Always making sure that there's acknowledgement. And it doesn't have to be anything much. It can be a mug, it can be a meal, it can be a food token to the Northmark, but making people feel valued for their time and their contribution.
I like that term, taking away, decentering, or taking me away from the middle of the research. And again, I think sometimes our mechanisms are set up such that you're the PI, you're in charge of the funding, or maybe some goes into the community. But I see our role, or my role and my partners in it, is not necessarily leading, and I think that's a discussion we need to have around what does it mean to be a PI, or what does it mean to lead a research project. It doesn't mean that you have all the answers and you're going to tell everyone what they're going to do. It means, I think, again, more as a facilitator, in that people are coming together and that you are part of that. You're not at the center of it, but you're all part of that, and you move together forward. You move forward together. And I think when you are able to let go of that control and let things happen organically, in particular when we're working with communities, that we need to be addressing and responding to the needs that the community raise. So yourself at the center of that, that's not going to happen. A good leader surrounds himself with people and resources to act on whatever the issue may be. It's not about, again, telling people what to do. It's about working together.
I think from an Inuit perspective, the most important thing is that we believe that nothing should be done about us without us. Historically, we've been the subject of lots of research. Many people came and took what they wanted and left and didn't give anything back. And the research that works well, and there's lots and lots of examples in my region of research that is working really well, is where they take the time to build the trust relationships with the community so that they're almost like a member of the community. And when they do that, the doors are wide open, and they go beyond that. They take them out on the land, they invite them in for meals. Like, it becomes a whole different relationship, and I think the gain is all round.